Have you noticed how Reddit story videos are absolutely exploding over YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and Instagram Reels? They rack up millions of views, usually with a generic Minecraft or GTA background, a robotic voice, and some captions that go over the top of it. So I decided to shake all of this up. I've built a specific tool like we can see on screen here that will be able to take all of the guesswork and hard work out for you. It's going to go through and be able to get the top performing posts in a specific Reddit thread and be able to go through and generate the video for you to be able to publish automatically straight away. No more endless scrolling, no more boring generic clips. Just one click and you'll be able to get amazing videos that publish almost straight away. You only need to do one part of the process yourself. So let's jump into the video and see exactly how it works. We're going to be able to come down the bottom, do execute workflow. The rest is going to be handled automatically. We'll be able to go through and get multiple different stories. In this case, we want to be looking for ones that have a score of 500 or plus. We're going to check that we've not already done a video on that in the past. If so, we'll go through, tidy up the code that we've got, tidy up the text that we've got. We're going to generate a voiceover to go through and do it incredibly cheaply. We're also going to give access to that 11 Labs mode if you wanted to do that in a different style. This is going to sound so much better than some of the other robotic voices out there. We're then going to go through, generate a prompt that's going to be for our AI video generator. This is going to be specific to that story. I'm going to give the output that we want. So for example, here, we're looking for a Starbucks paper cup to be included because it's all about Starbucks. We're then going to be able to go through, generate an AI video that's specific, get that back, store it in our Google Drive so that we can go through and use it in the future. And if you want to take this to the next level, we're going to put it all together with another platform that's going to be able to aggregate our video, our subtitles, and the audio to make it work in one video. Once it's generated it, we'll be able to get our video, store it in Google Drive, and then we only need to do that one final step ourselves. There we go. We've now got our video back and we've just uploaded it into Google Drive so we can do that last step and put it all together. We're going to come into Airtable. We're storing all of the different data in here. In this case, this is the video that just went through. So we're going to click on that post. We can see what the post was about. We can see it's about getting some free coffee from Starbucks. What we're going to need to do is make sure that we've got a new page opened up on Canva. There's going to be our video generation. We're going to come back across to Reddit, screenshot the confession. So there we go. We'll be able to copy this, come into our new platform, add that in there. And then all we're going to need to do is add the video over the top, and that's it. We're all completely done. And that's where we're able to automate as much of the process as possible, because Reddit is very good at being able to block some of the bot activity to be able to get everything in one place. We'll go down, add our Google Drive. There we go. We've now got our AI video added in here that's pulled across on my Google Drive, and we've got the captions ready to go. So if I play.
And I would take advantage of the free refills that Starbucks had for drip coffee. The offer was really meant for people sitting in the store, but I would buy coffee in the morning and then bring my cup back around 1 or 2 p for another cup. Apparently in NYC, they weren't allowed to actually refill the cup for health code reasons or something. So they throw out the cup and give you a new.
There you go. So as you can see, we're able to get an incredible output incredibly quickly. In this case, this video is 40 seconds long, so we'll be able to do that. All we need to do is come down here. We're then going to change the duration. We'll be all ready to go. All we need to do is share it, so download it and post to a platform straight away. That's how quick and easy it is to get working. If you want to access any of the resources, make sure to come across to our community. You'll get access to everything as part of your 7-day free trial, including this plus much more that we've got, everything from video generation to masterclasses and more. We're going to come into one that's AI turns Reddit posts into videos. We're going to have all of the commands that we're going to be running through today. But if you want to get up and running straight away, come down, download the blueprint, come back across into n8n, new workflow, import from file, and then all you need to do is click on the downloaded blueprint. It will load up for you straight away and you won't need to do a thing. But let's go through and start building it from scratch together today. So we're going to get rid of this. We're going to start with a manual trigger in this case, because perhaps we only want to go through and schedule it when we run it. Or if you wanted to use a chat trigger node so that you could share different threads. Or if you wanted, for example, to use a schedule node, what this would do is, for example, here, you could go through every day and get the latest posts for that specific day. we're going to go through and just use the manual trigger for today. We're going to come through, we're going to do Reddit as our platform. We've got lots of different options here. We can say that we want to get many posts, we could get some comments. I'm going to come through and just say that we want to get many posts in a specific subreddit. Before we go through and start adding the details in here, we're going to need to create some credentials. So you want to come through, create new credential. You're going to have your OAuth redirect here, which is key. We're going to need that. What we want to do is come across to Reddit developers. I'll include the link below so it's easy to find it. We're going to say that we want to create another app. We want to give it a name. So for example, we can call it n8n YT demo. We've got a description in there that we want to use. We're going to make sure that it says web app, and you want to come back into your environment, copy this redirect URL and make sure that it's sitting in the redirect URL at the bottom there. Create a robot, check I'm not a robot, and create an app. What we'll see here is we've now got some key information that we need to copy across. So in this case, we've got our client ID, which is this part here. So we'll copy and paste in here. We're going to come back and get our secret. So we need to come back, copy, and then paste. What we can do is connect my account. This will make sure that we're all connected to our specific Reddit account. We've already got our account set up though. So we're going to come back and use that instead. We'll just get rid of this and we'll be using our main one that we've got. So now we need to go through and find our subreddit. For today's video, I'm going to be using this one here, which has lots of interesting stories, but you could quite easily use anything from Ask Reddit, or we've got Overheard, you've got ChatGPT. There's so many different ones that you'll be able to use, and we're going to be able to get all of these stories automated. So let's copy this. This is going to be our subreddit. We're going to paste in here. Now we can return all, or we can limit it. I'm going to keep it at 100 now just to show you. Then we're going to go down to 1. I'm going to come through. We can change the different categories. So maybe we've got some top posts, some hot or new posts coming through. So we'll be able to use that. We'll come up to the top. We'll do execute step. As we can see here, we should be getting that 100 items. In this case, we've got 92 that are coming back, and we'll be able to go through and use all of these. So that's great. We've now got all of this coming through. For the demo today though, I'm just going to use 10 so that we narrow it down a bit more for the executions we're going to do. So now we've got the 10 items coming through. Firstly, we want to filter them because what we're looking for is, if we come down on the left-hand side, is we want this score to be over 500. So we're going to change the number to be greater than the number to be greater than or equal to, and then we want this to be 500. The score is just basically the upvotes minus the downvotes. So we want to find something that's performed pretty well in the community already. We'll do execute step, and now we'll be able to get rid of 4, and we're going to keep 6 to go through and use. Now that we've done that, we're going to come through and we're going to use Airtable. But if you wanted to do Google Sheets, anything like that, you could do it as well. We'll do search records. We're going to make sure that we've got our connection. If you've not done that before, make sure to create a new credential. You need to come through and do either access token or OAuth. If you want to see that, we've got more in the community, and then include the documentation below exactly how to do that. Reddit and then stories, it should come up all shortly. There we go. We're going to be doing the table is stories because we've only got one, but maybe if you've got multiple ones that say if it's posted, not posted, you can do that as well. We're going to need to add a filter in here. So we're going to come back across to the community, scroll up to the top, and then we'll copy this across for ease. We're going to put that in here and just change it to expression. Now we're going to get rid of this ID because what we need to do is come to the left-hand side, and then we're looking for the ID of that specific story that's come through from Reddit. So we're going to scroll down. We're going to look for where we've got the ID. There we go, ID. We're going to pull that across, paste in there, and now we'll be able to check. If we come up, we should be able to do test step. And what we're looking for is if that story already exists in our table. So as we can see here, it looks like it is. So we're going to need to make sure that we don't generate it again in the future. For the purposes, I'm just going to come back across. We'll come to the left-hand side here, and I'll just delete the ID. So now what we can see is that when we do the retesting and the filtering, it's not going to find it. We want to do filter. And then what we're looking for is that ID from our Airtable does not exist. So we want string does not exist. Because if it doesn't exist, it means that it's not been captured into Airtable already. If it has, then it's going to exist and we don't want to do a store on it. So now if I do execute step, we'll see that it's discarded, but we want it to be kept to go through and write the story. So in this case, we'll come through, we'll do execute step. This is going to go through and is going to generate it for us. So as we can see here now, we want to make sure that we've got always output data turned on, but we've got no JSON ID that's being returned. So now if I rerun the filter, we'll see on the left-hand side here, we've got no ID that's being passed across. So if I do execute step, we should see that we get 1 kept and none discarded. So we'll be able to go through and do the rest. Great. The next part, we're going to come through and do a code module because we're going to need to tidy up the story that we got from Reddit. Because as you can see here, it's got some line breaks, it's got some brackets, and that doesn't work very well. We're going to need to come back across to the community. We're going to copy this one here. We're then going to come into our module. We're going to paste in here. And then what we should be able to do is just come through and execute step. We're going to need to just update where the items come from. So in this case, it's 500 and then score because we're referencing the filter module that we've got here. And that's where we're using this one here, which has got all the data from that story. If we re-execute the step, as we can see, we've now got no brackets. We've got it all on one line. It's not been broken out. So this is now in a format we can send across and generate some audio. Great. So now we're going to get into actually doing the voiceover as well as generating the video and then putting it all together. So first things first, we're going to come down. We're going to put across a HTTP request module. This is so that we can send some data off as well as get some data back. And in this use case, we're going to be using replicate to be able to do it. So I'm going to come across to where we've got replicate. These are all the different voice models that we're able to use. We also have, as you saw in the community, we've got the 11 labs integration if you prefer to use that. We'll come back across to where we've got our different voices though. As you can see here, lots that we can choose from. I'm going to be using this one today though, because it can be very cost effective. As we see at the bottom here, it's around $0.00086 to run, or 1,162 runs is about $1. So it can be very cheap and we don't need to pay for a subscription. We're only paying for what we need. What we can also see is if we come a bit further down, they've got lots of different voice models. We're going to be using Bella today. And then what we can also see is they've got British, French, Hindi, Italian, Japanese, and Mandarin. Lots of different ones that you can use. Make sure to keep an eye on the grade for that specific voice. That's where some of the 11 labs can be a bit better. So just play around with it and see what you prefer from that cost versus quality lens. We're going to come back up to the top. We're going to be able to run with an API, and then we can come across to HTTP and we'll have this curl request here. Now I've made a few changes to it. So we're going to come into the community. We're going to come down to where we've got our voiceover curl. We'll copy this, come back across into and then we're going to import. And we'll do import, and now it will load it up for us all automatically. What we need to do is come down and replace our bearer token. This is our API key. So we need to come back into our environment here and replicate, come up to our account, open API tokens, and then I've already got one generated down here. So we'll copy this. But if you've not done that before, give it a token name, click create token, and it will generate one for you. Let's come back across. We're going to paste the key in there. Now we're all good to go. We're going to come down and change this to expression. It's already set up. So what we're going to be doing is taking the output from the code module on the left-hand side here. We'll be using the American female and then Bella. And we're going to have her talk at 1.75 speed. So quite quick, which is good for TikTok and shorts and stuff like that. What I love about n8n is on the right-hand side here, we can see exactly what is going to be passed across with our HTTP request to generate the voice. What you need to make sure is that it's all in the structure like you can see here with no quotation marks, air quotes, anything like that, because otherwise that will break the JSON request. Now we can do execute step. This will go off and start to generate the voiceover for us. So we'll just rename this to generate voiceover. As we can see here, we got some data back. This will take a couple of seconds to go off and generate for us. It's incredibly quickly. So you may need a wait module in here if you're going to be using lots of text, or if it's quite small, it will do it pretty quick. The next state, we're going to do another HTTP request module. we're going to pull across this output, which is the WAV file. If you need it to be MP3, I recommend you come back across. We're going to come to where we've got our generate speech modules, which is here. You'll see this one here from Minimax. That is an MP3 file, so we'll be able to use that instead, for example, if you wanted to. If I now do execute step, we should be able to retrieve the voiceover. There we go. And now we can go through and save this. So I'll rename this to get voiceover, and we can come out of there. Now we've generated the voice and got it to come back. We're going to need to add it to our Google Drive. So I'll do Google and then Drive. We'll come across to here. We're going to do upload a file. Now I've already got a folder ready to go, as we can see here, which is called Reddit videos. And then we've got the background video, finalized video, and voiceovers. I'm saving all of the voiceovers in here. So we'll make sure to come back across. We're going to do voice and then over. We can then, if you wanted to add a name in here, you would just need to put across where we've got it from the story in 500+. So for example, here you could put across the title. If it goes red, that's because we need to have a merge module for it to be able to pull that specific data. So if we come out of here, we'll do merge here. We're going to combine the two, and then we're going to do bind position. We'll get rid of this. We'll pull down to the bottom. We'll get the 500 score, pull that in here. If we now do execute step, what we should be able to do is get all of the data in there that we need. And if we come back in here, we'll be able to pull across that new data so that we got the title. So we can pull across here, and there we go, all saved. Just depends on how you prefer to work, if you want to save it that way as well. We're going to come down to our folder. We're going to say Reddit and then voice, and this will find our Google Drive folder already. If you've not set up an account before, come up to the top, create new credential, make sure to add all of the key parts in here. We've got videos on the community that show you how to do that. And I'll include this link below that just walks you through how you can do it manually as well. We'll come out of here. We're going to close that down. And now we can do execute step, and it will upload it into our Google Drive folder so that we can save that voiceover, maybe if we wanted to use it in the future as well. So what we can see here is it's now executing. We should get that come back green. There we go. Now if I come back across, come into voiceovers, we'll see here that we've got one that's just come through, which is from the Am I the Arsehole story for sneaking out and causing someone to lose a job. We're going to do save, come out of here. So now we've generated the voiceover. Let's just change this to green. We're now going to need to generate the video for us. So we're going to come down. We're going to do a basic LLM chain. The reason that I'm using this is because if we come out of here, select the model, we've got all of these different options that we can now choose from. So if you've got specific ways that you like using, for example, the more conversational style of Claude from Anthropic, you can use that. Or if you've got a really large amount of tokens or words you need to put through, then something like Gemini is really good for that. I'm going to be using OpenAI today just because it's nice and cheap and easy. We're going to change this to be our 4.1 mini, which is just one of the latest models that's quite cheap. We go and let's just do 4.1 normal. We're going to come out of here, we'll pull that across, and then we'll just bring this out so it looks a little bit neater. We're now going to go through and add our prompt in here. So we need to change the voiceover to be defined below for our user input. We're then going to come back to where we've got our score, and we can put across this self-text, or we can do where we've got the voiceover and pull this across as well. At the start, we're just going to come back across and say video context. This will then pass in all of the information that we've got, so it's got an awareness of what we're trying to do with that video. We're going to come down, add a prompt. We need it to be system, so it goes through and gives it some instruction. We'll change it to expression, open it up, and now we need to get our prompt. So we'll come across to the community. We're going to come down and copy all of this. We'll come back across and we're going to paste in there. This is just a prompt that will basically explain how to do the video. It's got some really clear instructions to make sure we're getting the output that we want. Now we can do execute step, and what this will do is it will generate that prompt for us so that we can generate a video off the back of it. We'll do save. This will go through and execute. Now for generating the video, we're going to do another HTTP request. So we'll come through and add that in there. You're going to have quite a few different options. So I'm going to be using Leonardo AI Motion 2 today. This has just been released from Leonardo AI, And it's absolutely fantastic for kind of high quality, not amazing, but really good for what we're paying. What you can also do is come across to here. You'll see all of the different models that are accessible. All of these have different costs. So for example, Google's VO2, that's going to be around 50 cents per video that's generated per second. So it can be very expensive. We can come a bit further down. You've got Minimax, which is again that 50p for 6 seconds. If we come a bit further down, we've got our Leonardo, which we're using today, or we've got one like Gling. This is quite good because it's high quality and much, much cheaper. So as you can see there, we're looking at 0.95 cents per second of video. So if you were to generate a 5-second video, that's going to be around 47 to 50 cents to generate it for you. So can be quite good, can be quite expensive, depending on the model that you're using. Just make sure to come back and play around with and see which you prefer for that specific use case you have. As mentioned, we're going to come down and choose our Leonardo Motion 2. We're going to come across to where we've got our run with API, come down to HTTP, and you have your curl request here. Now, I've already generated a different version of this, which is going to be in here, because we've added some guidance on exactly what we're looking for and how we want that video generated. We're going to copy this, come back across, come back into our HTTP request, import the curl in there. We'll do import and it'll update it all for us automatically. So as we can see here, this is all ready to go. We just need to update our token. So we'll come back across. We'll come down to where we've got our API keys. We'll then come down to our Reddit one, copy and come across, and then paste in here. Now we are able to come a bit further down. We're going to come down, change this to expression. The reason for that is because we're going to be passing across the prompt that we've got for this video generation agent. As you can see here, these are all the details. We've got the aspect ratio, so that 9:16 is that sort of social media iPhone looking one. We've got different vibe styles, lighting. You can make all of this dynamic if you wanted to, but one of the key parts is this frame interpolation, because if we come back across, we see here smoothly blend frames for fluid video transitions. So it'll make it look really good for the output that we're looking. Now if we do execute step, this will be able to go off and generate the video for us, which is going to be, in this case, up to 5 seconds at 480p. So we'll come out of here, we'll wait for this to execute, and then we're going to need to go through and get the video. So to do that, we'll do another HTTP request module. We'll wait for our output to come back. This can take a little while because it's going to go off, generate everything for us, and then come back. Just play around with it. Sometimes you need a wait module in here if you find that it doesn't execute it straight away. That's where it just makes sure that the video is processed, complete and ready to go before we get the request here, i.e. get the video. Let's just rename this to get video. We'll do save. We'll just wait for our request to come back. As we can see here, all sorted and we've got lots of different information, but the key part is this output aspect here. We'll come out of here. We're going to come down to our next one. We'll pull across where we've got the output. We can see that we want the properties, we want the response, and we're going to say that it's going to be a file. Now, if we do execute step, we should get an MP4 file, which comes back, which will be specific to that video that we've just done. So we'll see here, we can do view, and then as we can see, it's able to generate the video for us. We'll come out of here, do save, and then pull it to the left-hand side. Now we're going to do the same as before. We'll do Google and then Drive, mainly because we can upload our file. So again, if you wanted to have the name of it, you would just need to pull that across. I'm not going to do that for this one, so we don't need to duplicate the merge in here. We're going to come to the left-hand side. We'll see that we've got data and data, so it knows the file it's uploading. We'll say video file, and we're going to save this into our Reddit and then background videos. There we go. We'll come out of here and then we'll do save, and this will be able to execute that step and just make sure that we've saved all of the videos that we've generated. So we'll get this to come back. It looks like it's going through now, and there we go, all uploaded. Now we're going to come across and do add table. We're going to do create a record, because as we saw here, we were able to check if we had already generated a video about this story. If not, we're going to go through and do it now. So as we can see here, we need to store that we've completed this. So as before, we're going to come through, we're going to choose our Reddit and then stories table. There we go. Now we need to choose the stories main or first table that we've got in there. and we'll need to go through and update some of these details. So first things first is our Google Drive from the video. We're going to come down to we've got video generated and put across the web link. We're then going to close this down because we don't need the rest. We're going to come back to where we've got our 500 score. We're going to come down, put across the subreddit so that we can use that. We've also got the story ID, so we'll come a bit further down. We're looking for where we've got ID. There we go, ID. We've got the title, so we'll come back up to the top. And then we're looking for, we can see there, the title. We'll pull that across. The story, we can use the self-text from here. Or if you wanted to use the code module output as well, you'd be able to do that. It's up to you. Depends on what you prefer. We'll close that down. We're going to come down to the score. This is going to be the score. So what it is the upvotes minus the downvotes. So we can see how popular that story is or how many times is wanted to be talked about. We'll add the score in there. We're going to come down and add the post in here. So that's going to be our URL on the left-hand side. There we go, URL. And the voiceover, we're going to need to come up to the top, collapse this down, and it's going to be this Google Drive, that first one, which is where we uploaded the voiceover of that specific story. So we'll be able to pull this across and store it in there. Now we can come through and say done. And what we can do is execute the step and it will go through and add all of this information into our Airtable at the bottom here. This is going to be the easiest way to do it if you don't want to pay for the next part of the platform. All you would need to do is click on the post, which will open it up, for example. You would then be able to screenshot this, pull it across to Canva, as well as the different videos that we've added in here, so it's all good to go. What we are going to show you though is how to use CreatorMate, which is a paid for service, to be able to put it all together in one go straight away. We'll come back across to our table. As we can see here, we've now got it added at the bottom and we've got everything ready to go to generate our story. We'll come out of here. We're going to close this down and do save. And now we're going to put it across to the bottom as we're going to do another HTTP request to generate what we're looking. We'll just change this color to be green because that's all good to go. What we'll do is we'll open this up. We're going to do import from curl. We're going to come down to where we've got it in here. We'll come down and copy all of this, come back across and paste in here. Now, before we go through this, I'm going to explain CreatorMate a bit more, which is a platform that's going to enable us to put images, videos, soundtracks all together. As we can see here, it's got lots of different integrations, lots of different ways that we can use it, and it's all done through an API request that we're going to send off. On the pricing side, as we can see here for monthly, we're going to be around $49 a month to be able to put 200-ish videos together. So it can be quite expensive, especially for this growth plan or beyond, if you're doing this quite often. So just bear that in mind if you're happy to take these costs on involved. We're going to come back across. As we see here, we're going to need to add our API key, as well as change this to JSON, just so that we can make sure our body is all ready to go. This will all be sorted in the version you get access to, so you won't have to just go through and do this update. So if we come into here, we'll paste in there, change to expression, and we're all good to go. Let's come back across to CreatorMate. We're going to do get started. We're going to need to come across to templates. Now you can generate one from scratch. All you'll need to do is come up to new, come down to start from scratch, or if you want to use some of the templates they've got in here already, you can do that. If you wanted to look exactly like mine, do start from scratch. 9x16, which is here, create a template. What we then need to do is guide it on what we're looking for. So we're going to need to upload some examples. So we're going to need the video, the audio, as well as those subtitles. So let's come across to where we've got our data stored in the Reddit videos. We've got demo. So for example, here, I can upload this one. We can then put this as the background. There we go. Now we'll come through and upload an audio file. So we'll come through and upload one that we had a bit earlier. As we can see at the bottom here, we've now got an audio track, which is much longer than our video at the moment. So what we want to do is click on video, come to the right-hand side, come down to where we've got loop, say yes. And now what the video will do is automatically loop through to the exact same length of that audio that we've got. If you want to add the subtitles, make sure to click on audio. We then want to come up to the top, AI with subtitles, and you can come through and completely change it to exactly what you want. That's all good to go now. So if you want to use the template, come up to use template, API integrations, and you'll see here that you've got your template ID. What we need is the body of the request that we're sending across as well. So you want to come up to source editor, and you'll see here you've got this body that we're going to be sending across. Now in the version that we've got, we've already made these changes for you. So let's walk through it step by step. So the bearer token will come back across. We're going to come to where we've got use templates, API integrations. We're going to need to copy this for now, just because it's got our API key. So I'll just do another HTTP request module, and then we'll do import curl so that we can get our bearer token. There we go. Copy and then paste in here. We'll come down, and now what you're going to need to do is if we put across on the left-hand side, you're going to need to update your template ID, which we showed you a little bit earlier on. So as we can see here, that'll be this template ID from the template you've generated. We'll come out of here. We see that we've made some modifications to the videos. So in this case, we've got one MP4 file, which is going to be our background video. That's going to use the request from our output. So if we close this down, it's going to be get video, as we can see here, which is going to be this output module here. Where we've got the voiceover, which is this second element, we'll close this down. We're going to come up to where we've got get voiceover, and it's going to use this WAV file here. We've also got the captions. You don't need to change anything here. It's automatically done to make it look like exactly the way I had it. But if you want to go through and change any of the colors, anything like that, you can do that as well. Now what we need to do is execute the step. This will go off and start to generate the video for us. This takes around a minute, minute and a half to 2 minutes to get the output that we're looking for. So whilst we're automating it, what we want to do is have a wait module. This will then wait the time for us. So we can do maybe 2 minutes. We'll add that in there. There we go. So we've now got that video back, and we're going through and just waiting the 2 minutes before we do our next stage, which is about that HTTP request to download the video that we've got here. Because as we see, we've got planned at the moment, we need it to be completed for us to be able to download it. We'll wait for this to complete, and then once it's done, we'll make sure to do our penultimate step, which is just going to be getting that video. There we go, all done. So now we can do a HTTP request. We're going to put across where we've got our URL. We'll be able to do execute step. This will go down and download the video file for us. We should get the MP4 file, which is that specific video file that we'll be able to use on social media. There we go, it's all come back. Now if I do view.
Sir is 33 female and I'm 14 female. She had a baby 3 months ago. I just got out of school for the summer and really wanted to rest, but my son...
There you go, I think that looks absolutely fantastic. Now let's go through and build the rest. And there we go, it's all uploaded to Google Drive. So now all we need to do is come across to where we've got, for example, Canva. We're going to do a mobile video. What we'll then do is on the left-hand side, we're going to come down to our Google Drive. We're going to come down to our folder. It'll take a little while just for Google to render it, but once it's complete, we can put it across. So we'll just wait for this to finish. Whilst we wait for this, we'll just come down the bottom. We're going to change the duration. So we're going to come up the top. We'll double check the video length. We'll put this to around 60 seconds, which is going to be a minute. This is just so we don't have any issues. Whilst we wait for this to come back, let's come and get our Reddit. So this is going to be the story that we've done. So we'll be able to screenshot all of this. You can include all of it, some of it, anything you feel. We'll come back across. We're going to pull it across and put it in the center of our story here. We'll make it a little bit bigger because it's quite a big story. You can have it take up as much of the screen as you want. And we're going to keep this gap at the bottom here. So that if we want to see the captions, we'll be able to do that. We're just going to refresh this because we should see our Google Drive come back any second. There we go. It looks like it's 1 minute 27. So we'll just update this to be 1 minute and then 27 seconds. So then this will be all good to go. We'll just put across our video as the background. So we'll pull down to the timeline, and then we'll just make sure that this all fits up behind the scenes. We'll pull down, and then we're going to position this at the back. So now we've got the video here. And if we do play.
Sir is 33 female and I'm 14 female. She had a baby 3 months ago. I just got out of school for the summer and really wanted to...
There you go. And that's what you need to do. The rest is completely automated. If you want to get access to the resources, make sure to come across to the community. You'll get access to all of this, plus the blueprint, as well as much, much more that we've got in here for masterclasses and lots of other content. Stay tuned for more around AI agents, automation, and have a great day.